Welcome to Barbados.
Welcome to LESC.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Not only because I'm in Barbados, but guess what? It is all about the FIREFLY Cultural Exhibit 2021, and we're going to do it a little bit different this year. It's going to be virtual. We want to keep everyone safe and also have an amazing time. Now, this experience was designed for the Global Services Forum, of course, brought to you by the Barbados Coalition of Service Industries. And before I forget to mention, guess what? Or how could I forget to mention, this is the Barbados Museum located within one of UNESCO's World Heritage Properties. My name is Vaughan. I'm going to be your host. We're going to have an amazing time. Go ahead and get your cocktail, grab a drink, whatever you want to do. We're going to have some fun today. Okay, I hear you. Now, what is the BCSI? Now, the BCSI is a business support organization dedicated to the advancement of the services sector. Now, our aim is to enhance the export potential of service providers in Barbados. All right, now it is time to get started. We're kicking it off with our virtual art gallery. And first up, we're starting with the curator of the art gallery. She's a contemporary artist. Her name is Alanis Ford.
This painting is called Our Salvation, and it explores what it means to live in a paradise space, a space that is seen as an escape or vacation for others outside of Barbados. What I'm trying to do is find my paradise, my escape, and in my work, I'm creating these paradisiacal landscapes and these imagined spaces where my proxy, which is this blue dotted figure that reoccurs in my work, lives and resides in. In this particular piece, Our Salvation, I am examining the tension between Barbados and the environment here and my proxy. And in this piece, I wanted to experiment and play around with the different materials. So I'm using oil paint and glitter in this particular piece. Glitter in the way to create illusions and to hint more at the imagined spaces that I'm trying to bring to life. I see glitter as a material that appears different in different lighting at different angles, and I wanted to allow the viewer to feel like they're being transported into that my imagined paradise spaces. In this painting, Insidious, I wanted to create a self-portrait. Instead of using my proxy, I used myself and I enclose myself in the paradise spaces that I'm creating. And I wanted to, by using a circle canvas, I wanted to almost create a globe or a world in a way. So to examine what happens when I leave this space and I go into the world, and how I can still be perceived as a Caribbean person, as someone from paradise, based on my dialect, based on my look, based on my culture. So in this particular piece, the circle shape of the canvas was important because I wanted to examine the idea of me being away from Barbados, away from this paradise space. This piece is part of a triptych called Amalgamation, and for these particular works, I am examining and mixing together different materials and exploring how they work together or may not work together. I am trying to almost create these tiny miniature masks that steps away from the proxy that is common and reoccurring in my work, which is the blue dotted figure. So I wanted to create a different aesthetic, a different look on how the proxy can evolve or change. So with this, I am using different tropical fabrics and beads and metallic cord and mixing all those together to create masks that will eventually find its way into my paintings and become their own proxies, their own beings.
Coming up next, you have Expressionist artist Brandon Best.
Birthday Cake Boy. Birthday Cake Boy was created with the intention of showing what kind of context food could bring within a particular situation. So back in the lockdown of 2020, a lot of people spent their birthdays within lockdown or quarantine. And that is what this piece is showing. It's showing a young man who's spending his birthday inside like a lot of other people were last year. And despite being in lockdown and the world being in the situation it was with the pandemic and all, we still uphold to certain traditions. So what's a birthday without having a cake, correct? So that is why the cake may not be as big and lavish as you may want it to be, but it still has an important role to play within the piece and within the context also. Giant Steps. Giant Steps is actually the very, very, very first painting on canvas that I ever worked on. It was created initially in 2016. The piece is all about a jazz musician's journey from going from the countryside to pursue their dreams of being a saxophone player in the big city. And this is despite coming from a troubled past. The whole point of the piece is to show that you can always elevate yourself and transition into something greater. You just have to make that decision for yourself. Service. Service is another mixed media piece just like Giant Steps, except it's based on my experience working within hospitality. So it's very loud, it's jazzy, there's a lot going on within the piece, and there's drawing, which is actually my initial form of medium that I preferred before I became, I quote, painter. And I love everything there is about the piece. It's rough, it's rigid, it's not too chaotic, and it's just getting to the real feel of what it felt like to be working within a busy restaurant, especially one in high standing. Mila. Mila is one of my favorite pieces for several reasons. One, it's one of the first pieces that I'd done to that size, 24 by 30 inches. It's another mixed media piece, however, it is just using acrylic paint and marker for drawing. The piece is based off of my girlfriend, Mila. This is about self-love and showing personality through color and form and through her big afro. and also the sparkles and colors coming from her eyes. The piece was initially created for a Valentine's themed exhibition. Even though that exhibition never came to pass, I still developed the piece to be the way it is. It may not be romantic, but it is again about self-reflection and self-love and how you perceive yourself versus how you are perceived by others.
All right, thank you so much, Brandon. That was awesome. Coming up next, we have Donna Haynes. Now, she's an expressive performative artist. Her work will be accompanied by spoken word artist Cindy Celeste, whose poem Paradox is inspired by this collection.
Where I am from, it is illegal to wear camouflage. We are punished for wearing patterns we are not entitled to. But around here, it's also true that it's taboo to not blend in. Here, we are pressured into wearing our skin the way that has long lingered on in external expectation, hiding the shapes and shadows comprising the complexities of our complexions, even if, when we see our reflection, it is at odds with our personal perception. We are supposed to make modifications in order to fit the mold. We limbo, finding ourselves lost between instinct and influence, between authenticity and acceptance, feeling alien on the inside but needing outside validation. We are cursed to live this paradox of an existence in a constant state of crisis, to decide whose approval should be more relevant. Self-adorning for adoration and admiration, but the blight of self-expression is that there's no right place to be on the spectrum. Hate yourself for fitting in too much, be hated for sticking out like a sore thumb. Either way, to skew too far in either direction creates a problem. We ask ourselves, am I accepted now? By whom? Wonder which version of us is least at risk for ridicule. Question whether we have room to bloom in all of the colors that we want to without having to assume the costume of the imposter. To what fate are we relegated to if we do not neatly fit the frame that everyone is accustomed to? If we choose to refuse to fake the same brand of society's outlandishness? What if we wish to shed the filter-ready facade in favor of the face that we are most comfortable with?
All right, thank you so much, Donna. That was beautiful. Now, closing the virtual gallery today is Vaughan Hall, who is a member of local art group PM Splash. Now, his work is also accompanied by Cindy Celeste, whose poem Illustria is inspired by his collection.
What if people were like picture books? What if we could stare down the stories stored and captured in stills they took from their lived experience? If we could take a look through their lifetimes by perusing their personal pages, how far would we let our gazes penetrate? What if every single person is an entire album of trial and tribulation? Every obstacle they've ever faced, every place they've ever been, each win and loss, high and low. Would we dare go beyond a glance at their surface? If people are picture books, do we even look inside the cover to uncover the artwork at their hearts? We can reconcile how a photograph can make a mask for 1,000 words, how a camera click can conceal the complexities of its subject, but when it comes to people, we don't see through the same lens, forget to connect the illustration to the narration that made it. And can we really know an individual without truly pouring through what it is that made them possible? Can we remind ourselves of the way a snapshot is the postscript of a parable? If I were a picture book, I'd hope my readers want to hear what the hummingbirds in my hair are all a feather about, what the sunsets on my skin have to say. I'd want them to see my skies and be inspired to ask about my day. If I were a picture book, I'd want anyone who takes a look to see the forests and be curious enough to proffer questions to each tree. I'd want them to chat with the babbling brook about the truths and fictions of me. I'd want them to try and see just how extraordinary my plains can be. I'd want them to read between the lines and decode the colors to find all the words that help define me.
Now, we just witnessed the visual art aspect of Firefly. Now, next, we will feature music and fashion, which we have combined for an exciting presentation. Now, each act will be accompanied by the High Synergy Band. Opening this segment is fusion artist Lee Phillips performing an original piece entitled Sunrise. Now, Lee is paired with and outfitted by the resort wear brand Black Flamingo Apparel.
Yeah, flower child, don't let them deceive you. Don't believe them when they try to turn you cold. There will be pain, heavy rain. I promise you'll go on. Taking all this on, you need to feed you. There's strength within, you'll never be alone. Make love your home, peace your throne, feel it all in. Close your eyes, put hurt aside. Stay open to love. Stay open to love. Close your eyes, put hurt aside. Stay open to love. Stay open to love. Smiling with the sunrise. Yeah, he's smiling with the sunrise. Keep on, yeah. Trials come, let the night teach you. Bloom where you are planted, make your presence known. Don't dim your light or stay out of sight. I promise you'll go on. Gratitude in all things, let it lead you. Don't fear greatness, don't fear the unknown. Like plants and seeds, if you believe, feel it all in. Close your eyes, put hurt aside. Stay open to love. Stay open to love. Close your eyes, put hurt aside. Stay open to love. Stay open to love. Keep smiling with the sunrise. Yeah, keep smiling with the sunrise. Keep on, yeah. Sunrise. Mix me. Sunrise comes to the people when they ready. Flower child, hold tight, be positive, be steady. Shine down on me, the blessings fall heavy, heavy, heavy. Sunrise comes to the people when they ready. Flower child, hold tight, be positive, be steady. Shine down on me, the blessings fall heavy. Yeah. Close your eyes, put hurt aside. Stay open to love. Stay open to love. Close your eyes, put hurt aside. Stay open to love. Stay open to love. Keep smiling with the sunrise. Yeah. Keep smiling with the sunrise.
Thank you, Lee, and Black Flamingo Apparel. That was absolutely phenomenal. Now, coming up next, we have Jabari Brown performing School Books. Now, he is paired with fashion designer Unparalleled, who specializes in streetwear.
FIREFLY 2021. My name is Jabari Brown. When you're ready to vibe, listen. Writing raps at the back of my school books, making tracks when I'm out just to get the looks, and the likes where them coming, right? To be a tiger in the woods, you got to earn your strength. If she breaks my heart, that will be nothing new. Can't keep a woman longer than a snow cone, boo. If the snow cone melt before you tell the truth, the way you move, that can be your proof. It's time to rise up, I can burn down the booth. The subject and the verb agree to unite the youth. We're just bars, and who knows, I could be a star. Doesn't matter to me, just wanna be where you are. Hey, Barbados to the world, talking green monkeys. You don't know no squirrels, and I don't own no pearls. I might fly with birds. You're threatened by me, I could grab your purse, smack your curse, rattle off a little bit. If you don't read, buddy, then you should not spit. If you trap, well, you mumble, don't bother with it. I am a pentameter Shakespeare in this. Ha! Whoa, ho, ho, ho. Colder than the naked man in the snow. Hotter than the boiling kettle. Whoa, I tell you join my crew, but you swimming too slow. Swim to me, don't get hit by the wave. I jealous fast, cause it's love that they crave. And when the hook come in, I don't feel to bust up. Woo! Listen, watch my pen drop. Hey, yeah, watch my pen drop. Yeah, watch my pen drop. Ha, chicken, watch my pen drop. Give me sign up. Watch my pen drop. Watch my pen drop. Watch my pen drop. Watch my pen drop. Listen. I's the boy singing straight from the fields and hills. I's the boy who accustomed to the rust and bush. I's the boy cooking rappers from the outside grill. You ain't raised that way, don't pretend you stuck. Cause again and again, I see in all of my friends focused on money to spend. All this today in the end. Melody who depend on music just to fit. Nobody's studying you, I don't care who you offend. She can crush your soul, act like it's your fault. Do you very dirty, then go drink in the mall. Tell you he's a rapper with no rhythm at all. She can tell you that she love you, but she never fall. I'm just a dark-skinned guy and I like football. Slave to society, aren't we all? Apathetic to your music cause you's a meatball. My words cut cold, but you better find a shawl. Wear side the slippers when I get to the mall. Tell you about your mother, I can say I get tall. And I don't mind being poetic till I lose my breath. It's a death, not a left, but treble and bass clef. Look, dance to the rhythm, make the beat drop. Move to the rhythm, make your head bop. Fresh and fat, straight down to the brain shop. Listen, look, make the pen drop. Watch the pen drop. Yeah, watch the pen drop. Check it, watch the pen drop. Watch the pen drop. Watch the pen drop. Watch the pen drop. Watch my pen drop. Watch my pen drop. I'm parallel. Watch my pen drop. Watch my pen drop. Asian boy, not many years old. Asian boy, not many years old. Asian boy, not many years old. I check. Watch my pen.
Yes, Jabari and Unparalleled, thank you so much. That was absolutely phenomenal. Now, before our final act, we would like to thank UNCTAD and the Global Services Forum for allowing BCSI this opportunity to showcase some of our emerging local creatives. Now, we recognize the need to develop the services sector, and this opportunity highlights that linkages can be formed to add value to our creative sector. Now, this production would not have been possible without the support of our sponsors. Here we go. The Ministry of Culture, National Cultural Foundation, Central Bank of Barbados, West Indies Rum, COSCAP, and the Exchange Interactive Center. Thank you very much to the Barbados Museum, of course, Marnico Media, and the entire production team who made today a success. Now, for our final act, we have soca artist Shanta Prince singing Throw Wine. Now, Shanta is paired with bespoke fashion brand Mac GS.
Galawaya, Galawaya, hey! Galawaya, really start to wine. Galawaya, really start to grind. Galawaya, to give them that spicy baby. till they come and say, hey, giving me worky, giving me dirty. We got tip on the toe. Bend your back and groovy tempo. You got to be ready and fit for the ride. Start a motherland, bend over arm, rock on time. Give him that spicy Baja wine. Start a motherland, headed to the metal line. Gas up it, give him a Caribbean type of wine. Just start a bucket like so. Make him comfortable and drop the. Give him the best time, wine. Things that he never get before. Not too hot and spicy. You don't know it's not gonna. So hold on tight and wine, man. I let me grind up on the dance floor. That's a motherland. Bend over and rock on time. Hey, give him that. Start a motherland. Headed to the metal line. Can't stop it. Give him a Caribbean type of wine. Give him that, give him that, give him that. Hey, give him that, give him that, give him that. Make him feel like he. Start a motherland, bend over and rock on time. Give him that spicy Baja wine. Start a motherland, headed to the metal line. Can't stop it. Hey, give him that Caribbean type of wine. Give him that, give him that. Make him feel like he can go. Give him that, give him that, give him that lad, oh. Make him feel like he can go. Santa Motherland, bend over and cho, wine, rock out down. Give him that spicy Baja wine. Santa Motherland, headed to the metal line. Can't stop it. Hey, give him a Caribbean type of wine. Give him that, give him that, give him that. Make him feel like he can go. Give him that, give him that, give him that. Make him feel like he can go. Start a motherland, bend over and cho, wine, rock out down. Give him that spicy Baja wine. Start a motherland, headed to the metal line. Can't stop it. Give him a Caribbean type of wine. Give him that, give him that, give him that lado. Give him that, give him that, give him that lado. Make him feel like he Caribbean type of wine. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shanta and Mac GS. Now, unfortunately, we have come to the end of our show. On behalf of the BCSI, thank you for viewing the Firefly Cultural Exhibition. To further explore the work of the artists featured in this exhibition, make sure you go to fireflybarbados.com. And of course, I was your host, Vaughan, and it was absolutely my pleasure.
Out of crisis and catastrophe comes opportunity, yeah. For real change in the world economy, to reduce vulnerability and inequality. So we coming together virtually to expand opportunities for developing countries. At UNCTAD 15, resolving trade issues, youth issues and gender issues too. Civil society and creative industries are part of the call to bring prosperity for all. Small island, big ideas, much more than the beach. Small country, big reach, touching the world virtually. We might be small, but proud people, we standing tall. Creative and hardworking, we bring Barbados to you. If you can't come to Barbados, we bring Barbados to you. If you can't fly to